Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramona, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast. Steve, Ramona.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am so thrilled to have you join us today. This podcast is dedicated to exploring the idea of doing business and living life with a purpose. We were just talking about purpose before the show, serving others, and yes, achieving success. We believe that we approach our work and our lives with a servant's heart, we can truly make a difference. And there's among other things, but start with that servant heart, you're going to do quite well. We created this show so we can motivate you, inspire you, and educate you to make an impact in your world. Again, we talked about that before the show. In your world, don't try to make $100 million tomorrow because you're not even going to win the lottery, do that. Take little pieces to change your world and the whole world will change. Hey, and whether you're an entrepreneur, community leader, highly successful business owner, or somebody starting out or just somebody looking for purpose in your daily life, we're here to support you. And my guest is going to blow you away. So please take a paper and pen out because you're going to want to take some notes. While you're listening to him today, I want to think about how you're going to serve today and what impact you will create today. And again, I'll circle that word today. You wait till tomorrow, a month and a half goes by, 2 months, and you haven't done anything. So started today. It's super simple. If you have any questions, reach out. Now, I want to thank my phenomenal sponsor, Pantheon Alliance. Imagine being part of a referral network of business owners and high-income entrepreneurs who want to change the world by building a network marketplace where we can make an impact. So if you're interested in Pantheon Alliance, please reach out and I'll get you more information. With that being said, like I said before the show, we talked about purpose and impact. And what my guest does is really work at that trade level, which I think needs help more than anything else because so many people start trades without knowing what they're doing. They have a passion for plumbing. They start a plumbing company and they wonder why they're not growing. Well, my guest today is going to show you how to do that and amongst other things. Nathan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Steve. It's great to be here. I feel a little bit like a lot of the guests and a lot of the shows I've been listening to. I hope I can own up and live up to what's the high expectations you've set.
Well, what we talked about before the show, you've already proved that. That's why we're going to start with purpose. It's used all the time. But I think in the trades, your plumbers, your roofers, people that go on that, out there in the field and work, that's a missing link. Talk about that.
I'm going to play on words here. Purpose to me is set up wrong in the world. Everybody says, find your purpose, find your passion, get motivated to do it, right? What you need to do is step back and I take purpose and I turn them into business goals for my contractors. That way they know their why is tied in with it and they have something to strive for. So I kind of play on words with it because purpose for myself, when I couldn't freely do it because I already have my purpose in life is already set because of my faith. I'm here for a reason and I know what it's for. But when it comes to business, so I turn purpose into business goals. And take out the word business goals and replace it with purpose. But I have very specific way of building purpose so that you have motivation to reach that goal.
What kind of impact does it make? We'll stay with the trades when you can achieve that.
It's like driving the car of your dreams with a blindfold on. You're in it, you can hear it, you know it, you want to go, but you can't see nothing. And then you put this in front of them and you take the blindfold off and people can see like, oh, but the thing is they can see where they got to go, but they got to drive their own car. They got to drive the car of their dreams. That's what a purpose does for you. It clears it up. Crystal clear windshield. You are driving and you can see where you're going.
Give us a real-time story of somebody you work with that you developed the purpose and the why and the growth they got.
Mhm. About a little less than a year ago, one of my clients, who I'm still with today, came when he started, he was banging his head against the wall. And when he called me, he said, I don't have money, I don't have time, and I don't have enough projects. So we took care of the first thing, which is time. We took care of the second thing, which was money, right? Simple management tools, so he could start controlling it. And then we worked on the third thing with his projects, right? But in the process of doing so, he's like, but I keep coming back to it. And I said, that's because you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, and you don't know where you're trying to go. So we worked through that through the last winter. And I distinctly remember it was right before Thanksgiving of last year. We had a meeting. I had asked him, I did this, what I call the why exercise. I have about 3 different exercises I do with them. I did them with them the week before, and I came and I presented and I said, this is your why. He sat back and his eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. And he was like, dude, that is exactly why I want to do what I do. That is why I don't want to go work for someone. Once that was figured out, man, he about less than a month later, he was able to go on a vacation with his family, a family of 8. He had the money and he had the time. But once he figured out his why, his purpose, it just clinched it with him. And he got more motivated, more inspired to keep going.
You said
That's
something very,
one of them.
yeah, one of many. I know we don't have to. I mean, I could probably spend hours with all the great stories you have because I've heard some of them. But you said something very interesting. He had the money, but he had the time. We talk about, especially in the trades, I've got to make money to pay bills, but freedom of time, how powerful is that?
Time is the one thing you never get back, right? And then you got a two-sided coin that's out there in the world. You either can, you can't control time or you can control time. Well, it's not about controlling time. It's controlling what you do with your time. So how do you do that? That's a mindset change. If you are a winger, like I'm naturally by nature am a winger, so AKA lazy, I don't want to follow a schedule. When I was in sales at my last job, that's how I got trained. I did everything on the schedule and it trained me over many years. And now today, if it's on my schedule, it gets done. And at the end of the day, at 5 o'clock when I leave, there's nothing else scheduled because I go home and be with my family. It's very rare that I miss dinners with my family, all because my calendar says so. And I don't want to. But that's what most people come into this. They're like, oh, I can't control time. Projects have to get done. I have to work till 11 o'clock. No, you don't. You have to tell yourself when to work. So what time are you starting at? What time do you want to quit? And you get as much done in that day and you go home. And if you're pouring concrete, for example, and you're pour concrete at 2 o'clock and you have to be out there till 11, well, that's a choice you have to make, and it's understandable in the trades. But maybe the next day you go home at noon, or maybe you don't work the whole afternoon. It's about telling yourself what you're going to do within the set amount of time you allow yourself to work.
Yeah, that's a great point about pride. If this project starts at 2, you work till 11 p.m., then you don't go and work till 2 or 1:30. Yeah. And start doing the pouring if you're doing the pouring, or be part of the job. So you take the morning off, take the kids to school. Yeah, man, you're really opening my eyes. My wife has kids. I don't have kids myself, but there's a lot of parents out here listening that they'll go, hey, we're 2 working parents. That sounds wonderful, but how can we do it? Because this is just not with trades either.
No, this is across the board, right? You got a movement going on where everyone's like, work when you want, do what you want, when you want, and it's okay. But the people that are saying it are the people that have been in the working careers for like 20 years. So the young generation that are younger, about 20 years younger, they want to do the same thing. They want to experience what I've worked the last 25 years for. Okay. Well, it's all about managing of your time. If you set yourself up now and say, I want to go to my children's functions and I want to take off a day for Thanksgiving and Black Friday and I want to do this, we'll just start now. That's the biggest thing that's happened before. And then, well, The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a book out there, very popular, right? Very simple. What's the first lesson he teaches you? Spend less than what you make, 10% to save. If you make 10 shillings, you spend 9. No different with your time. Tell it what to do. Money and time are the same thing. Manage one, manage the other.
Yeah. Okay, so now we've got the trades rocking and rolling. They've got a purpose. They're going. And a guy gets excited because he's growing and he's like, okay, I want to scale, which a good businessman, I mean, you don't all have to do it, but a good businessman will want to scale and be able to give more jobs and all that. So, how does a trade expand their business when they're starting to rock and roll?
Just like every house that gets put up or every building, you need to have footings and foundation material for it to stand. How did the big Empire State Buildings, all them stand? They have a very good foundation all the way down. How come there's 1,000-year-old homes in Europe plus in America? They have good foundation. So get the foundational stuff done. It does not mean that you have to buy stuff, but if you get the stuff, so start with purpose, start with your what I call your client trail, get your org chart, get your roll sheets, get your sales process, get your marketing system in place, get your budget figured out, spend the time when you have it to do that, get the fundamentals in place. Man, now you get a scale. You have everything. You have your standard operating procedure book. You get built. Anybody wants to know, like, oh, I need to know how to invoice something. Go to section 2, page 2, tells you how to invoice. Now you can scale. Now you have systems and processes that will take you to the moon. But you cannot have systems until you have processes. And you cannot have processes till you know where you're trying to go.
Yeah, purpose. That's so, you backtracked it so well. That was pretty cool how you backtracked that. And SOPs are so big. It's, if you don't have one in a business, you need one, especially with a team. Even important, and because when you bring a new person on, the SOP goes right on their desk. Okay, here's our SOP. Understand.
Yeah. And SOPs can come across in different ways. People can break them down into one process, right? If you take a process, so we'll just use you for an example. If you have to publish this podcast, therefore there are set things you have to do. And you've been doing it so long that you don't think about it. So what would you do if you broke your hand and couldn't use your mouse? You would have to tell someone what to do, right? So why don't you just take the time, type it up, so somebody can take care of it? But there's 2 ways to process. You can do visual or you can do typing. Both ways. More people understand visual. So I work on the flow chart, I'll call it. Do the flow process. And then what happens from the flow process is you get tasks, and tasks are the little things that have to get done every day.
Well, it's incredible you just mentioned that, because the first time we talked a little bit about processes, and I do have a whole written out description, step by step, what I do to put a podcast with it recorded out and in 20, 30 minutes. And it worked because I had a couple of people do it for me when I couldn't do it. And they said, this is so easy. So this man knows what the heck he's talking about, because I followed his lead, and thank God we've become friends. And, you know, that's what we do as servants' hearts, give resources back and forth. So if you don't have an SOP as a podcast host, get one. Even as a podcast guest, you have a system. What are you going to talk about? What are you going to? It's across the board, and it's not hard to do, and you can learn about, or reach out to Nathan and find out more.
One thing to add to that is a tip. It is easier to do processes for oneself if somebody else facilitates the meeting. Yeah. There's your tip of the day on processes.
That's huge. It's $1 million tip right there, audience. Take that, run with it. You talk about marketing analysis for trades. That's something I'm sure a lot of you don't even know what you're talking about. It's a foreign language. Talk about that and how it could benefit a trade.
I call it a marketing system or a marketing plan. So the number one fault of marketers, I'm going to just talk in specific trade by nature, right? Any kind of trades. And I'm not talking commercial. My specialty is residential. So electrician, plumbers, masons, residential contractors, custom home builders, those kind of people. What they do is they hardly budget for marketing. So that's the number one thing. So you got to create a plan so that you can create a budget number so you can start spending correctly and in the right direction. And so what you do is you step back. Who is your audience, right? Who's your ICP? Everybody knows ICP. Who is your ideal client? Why do you want to do them? I say describe the person. Some people say describe the industry, but describe your perfect client. So who's your audience? And then what's your message? Your message needs to be clear. That's number 2. What's the channel you're going to use? So a fun fact to know, 85% of all businesses in America are sole proprietors. The average age of a business owner in America is 47 years old. The number one platform they use, Facebook. Now, LinkedIn is catching up fast, but that's right at the brink. All the people that are getting ready to retire and close businesses down use Facebook. As a builder, as a plumber, know where people go. So that's your channel you got to figure out. The next thing you got to do is you got to assess or ask, I'm saying the word wrong, but you got to get results. You got to measure results. So if you're going to do a Google ad for example, you don't say, oh, that didn't work. I didn't get any leads. I sent it out to 1,000 people. I got 2 people and they both didn't sign up. Didn't work, done with ads. No, now we call what's the 3-month cycle. You gather data for 3 months and you change little controllable things in that data so you know what works and doesn't. And then the last thing you got to do is set up a follow-up system. So you need a CRM or something that can manage all the stuff that's coming in. That's what builders are missing. That's what contractors in general are missing, is that understanding that marketing is first controlled by a system so that it can maximize your money, which will maximize your leads, which will maximize your what? Projects. Because then when you're busy, you know how to handle the new ones coming in and they follow the system.
What have you seen trades that use a marketing plan? What are the results?
Well, how many websites have you gone to? So the first thing people think about is websites. I need to go look at their work. Nobody has the concept, and I think one of your previous guests have said it about when you need, just like you're going to sell a home, you want to stage a home. I think it was Rich Hall, if I remember it. Like, you want to stage your business, right? You don't want some dumpy looking website out there if you're going to build custom homes or you're going to be known as the best plumber in the area. Like, so what's a success? If they have a really good website, you know they have a marketing system. Unbelievable. And it's easy to use. It's fast. It has videos and it has pictures. And they have professional pictures of themselves and their employees. That's a sign that they do. The results that come from this is people, you get credibility if you have a website, but if you have a really good one, you get past that. Like, everybody knows, or the standard statue right now is most people are 77% down the buyer's path right now before they make a decision in the contractor construction world. Well, you want every little thing to help you get there. What you want to do is pre-qualify and pre-trust. So you pre-build up this trust before they ever reach out to you. Because in an emergency, they're just trying to get the emergency fixed. But when they're trying to do stuff that they want, you want that trust to build up. A marketing system will build it up. So as to specific numbers, once you have place, then you just get down to the channel. It's the standard channel return of investment. But then there's also the clear message that everybody hears. And yeah. Many different statistics that could come into play there, but I'm not going to dive into them.
Yeah, and that's what you do with the client, is go through the statistics and help people walk through it. And don't recreate the wheel. The wheel is sitting right here as a guest. Let them do it. Figure out costs, but this you have to pay for this. If you don't have marketing, you have no business in my eyes. And it could be $400 a month. It could be $4,000. I don't know. Nathan doesn't know, but that's a great tip. And it's funny, when I went to get my floor out of the rental, and the bathroom floor had to be replaced, I looked at 8 different websites of contractors. And I picked the one with the best, and he did a fantastic job because the work looked like what the pictures were. And some of them had websites, they did with Wix and did it themselves and took pictures of their cell phone. And it's just so important. I know you're out there thinking, well, that's what I've done. Change it. Find a website developer. It's a big part of your business. We're getting close to the end of the time, but I want to ask you about this crazy question. Why does every mosquito live in your house?
You must have heard of Minnesota, the state bird. The thing about mosquitoes.
Wait a minute. The mosquito's the state bird of Minnesota?
Yeah, I don't know if that's official, but I'll declare it to be official today. So if you have children, you'll never keep them out of your house. That's the first tip of the day. The second one is mosquitoes find every hole, just like so do mice. So the first thing you can do is you have to when you build a brand new home, it's a lot easier because you make it, you don't make it waterproof anymore. What you do is you make it water resistant. So one drop of water will get out. In the process of doing that, you keep bugs from actually getting into your house with the new construction technology. Anything to keep mosquitoes out. There's times you want to go to sleep and they keep you awake, but you're being kept awake for a purpose. I don't know. It's a lot of things. They say they can get a little teeny holes. I think mosquitoes are here to remind us that life is not supposed to always be just pleasant.
I didn't know I'd get that kind of answer, so that's beautiful. Interesting. Yeah, I can imagine in Florida where it's humid, it's probably a problem as well. I like to end with a fun question, even though that was a fun question. You put it in there, and I just had to ask because now I know Minnesota. So here's the question. You've reserved a table at a restaurant. It's a table of 4. Of course, you're going to sit in one of the chairs. Who's going to sit in the other 3 chairs, dead or alive? Why are they sitting there? And what food would you order?
Okay. They are going to be my wife because she's my best friend, and I would love to. Me and her don't visit so much along what business is about, but I love doing stuff with her, and that's the first and foremost. Number 2 would be Zig Ziglar. Just a small little name in my industry, but very influential. I would pick him because I would want to tap his brain what started. He started at 45 and went and built the system, and he died in his 80s. So that would be number 2. And the third one I would have to say would be my dad. My dad got sick when I was really little. He passed away in the last year and a half. So I'd want my dad before he was sick, just to hear what his life was like, to talk to him, get to know him. So those 3, I would order a few things. They're called bacon wrapped shrimp, and I would order obviously steak with au jus sauce, and I would do a wedge salad, and then I would do vanilla pudding for dessert, and I would drink raspberry iced tea and water.
I'm gonna come stock your table. That sounds so good. My wife loves bacon wrapped shrimp. It is so good. Oh my God, it's a delicacy.
Oh, there's many things. I could talk about food for a whole nother podcast, but though it's right off the top of my head, that's what I would do.
I'm with you. We could have a great time. Maybe that's what we do down the road. That's a servant's heart. Breaking bread is always a way to serve people in many ways. How can people support you and reach out to you? They have questions or want to know more.
The best place to reach me is LinkedIn. Look me up, Nathan Rosenlund. Connect with me. DM me if you have questions. I love being on LinkedIn and answering people's questions, reaching out to them. The second thing is I have Kodiak Consulting CCT or KodiakCCT.com. Reach out to me there. Same thing. You can fill out a form, get on my calendar. If that doesn't work for you, you can always email me. I will set up an appointment. If you want to help me, connect with me on LinkedIn. That'd be my number 1 thing at this time.
He puts great posts on there. So just from informational standpoint, the post he puts out there he put one today that what we just talked about before the show was very informative. So reach out, connect with him, tell him you found him on the show, and he'll definitely connect and he'll be a servant heart and help you. Nathan, thank you so much. This has been incredible. You lived up to it.
Thank you for having me and allowing me an opportunity to sit down with you and visit with your crew and your peeps, I call them.
My peeps are happy right now. I know they're smiling. And everybody, don't forget about the TV show Together We Serve, which is Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. It's Apple TV, Roku, Samsung, all those TV streaming services on your big old TV. You can hear some great guests like Nathan. And Nathan and me, thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Everybody have an awesome day.